Hey guys, welcome in. Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Probably not great if you had to get gas. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But first, couple of housekeeping notes. By the way, we got a huge show coming up for you today. We're going to talk about the gas prices, exactly what's going on with gas prices. We're going to talk about Hogsett doing exactly what we've been calling for years now. He ain't going away. He ain't going away. And then we're also going to talk about the landmark Supreme Court ruling, rightfully so, which says it's 2026, not 1826. And we are not a racist country. And it is actually super racist to say that black people can't win elections unless you rig the election for black people. A landmark ruling yesterday with the Supreme Court. And for all the pearl clutchers here in Indiana, who in huffing and puffing and screaming about Virginia that the senators here betrayed everyone and a blah, blah, blah. Not the final ruling, but a first ruling yesterday, which matched what we have been saying for months on this show was likely to happen, that the Supreme Court in Virginia said, I don't think you guys followed the law. And we'll talk about and I was going to do this last week when they had the actual arguments, but we're going to talk about what the Democrats actually argued in front of the Supreme Court in Virginia, which is hilarious. How they tried to say what I think was an illegal action by the Virginia legislature, why it's legal. It's absolutely hilarious. And Trump should use this to get the SAVE Act passed through the Congress. They made the argument for him. So we got all of that to get to today. And I had a conversation with the DCS employee about Adam Krupp, and what this person told me, a respected member of DCS, what they told me is unbelievable. I mean, it's totally believable, but unbelievable. Sad. Okay, but before we do all that, we got a couple of housekeeping items to get through, and then we'll get to the program. Reminder, beginning Monday, we are moving to 9 until noon. 9 until noon. That is because you guys have asked for an extra hour, and you guys have said, hey, a lot of these national issues we want you to cover. And I said, well, I'm willing to do that, but I don't want to give up the basically 2 hours a day of local content, Indiana news, politics, and government. So we decided the only way for us to do that was to add a third hour. And I said, look, I don't have any extra hours in the day. I mean, I can commit to doing an extra hour of content, but I don't have an extra. Basically, it's a 1-for-1, right? Every hour you see here on the show, it takes an hour to put that together on the template, et cetera. Do the research, get all the information. And I said, look, I've got 2 extra hours. I don't have like 10 extra hours to also go out and get advertisers and everything else. And so generously, our friend John Rust has stepped up and said, I will support that, and has made it possible for us to bring you that extra hour. Now, that being said, while we're super thankful for our old pal, John Rust, sponsoring that, Election Day is Tuesday. That means a couple of our fine sponsors or people who are sponsoring the time are going to be going away, which means we got to find some new businesses to promote on this show. And that's what we do here. We promote great local businesses. So my charge to you guys, start thinking about it now, is to get us some great local businesses that we can get through the door. Pretty much every business we have promoted, we've gotten great results for. I told you the Double D's barbecue people were like blown away. You guys are the most loyal, best, amazing audience in the world. We tell you go do something, you go do it. And you're a local, right? Most of you guys, not all of you, but most of you are local right here, where you can support local businesses. Bramwell Mackay, Gary Tedrow, Vince Savvy, Double D's, all of them. John, our great guy, Black Sheep Plumbing. They've been all gotten results. This is what we do. We are great at getting local people to go through local doors, but we need your help. So if you know people who own local businesses, you own a local business, or you help run or make decisions for a local business, I want to hear from you. Get a hold of me. Sales@robkendallshow.com. Sales@robkendallshow.com. We're growing this program to an extra hour. We've got some of our political advertisers that won't be with us for a little while. So we need to get some local businesses back on this program to fill those voids. Sales@robkendallshow.com. That is my charge to you guys today. Get people to email me, sales@robkendallshow.com, so we can learn about those great local businesses. All right, other housekeeping items. Don't forget, our mantra here, like, share, and subscribe. We are totally dependent upon organic growth, which means we don't have a big corporation behind us. It means we don't have a bunch of money backing us to buy ads. We're dependent upon you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Here's how you help us grow. Number one, hit the like button. YouTube looks at that. They're like, how many people like this show each day? Hit the like button. If you haven't done it yet, do it. It really helps us out. Share the feed. You got a Facebook, you got a Twitter, push us out there. Let people know about us and subscribe to the channel. Those are the three ways that we grow every single day: liking, sharing, and subscribing. Also, robkendallshow.com. That's the website. If you haven't been there yet, check us out. We've got the live feed there, which you've obviously already found. We've got all the on-demand platforms. We want to grow those as well. If you got an Apple account, you got a Spotify account, even if you're watching us live on YouTube, subscribe to us over there as well. Tell your friends, if they're not YouTube people, they can listen on demand whenever they want, including 3 hours beginning Monday. Apple, Spotify, all the places you can find all the links, robkendallshow.com. Articles from our favorite segments we do each day. And most importantly of all, speaking of ways you can help the show, the support button, robkendallshow.com. You like what we do? Want to say thanks? It's a great way. No amount too big, no amount too small. robkendallshow.com, the support button. Our old pal, YouTube chat star C. Mills, Christopher Mills, hitting the support button yesterday. Thank you for doing that. Helps us grow. Okay, one other thing, and then we'll get to the program. Maybe, I don't know for sure, maybe, could be a false alarm, but maybe today is going to be our last day in our original studio. Tomorrow, I may be sitting on a floor, but our goal, if everything goes right, which that doesn't mean it will, we could be right back here, but we're going to give it a shot that tomorrow could be in the new studio. If we don't, if we aren't, there may be a little Easter egg for you guys over the weekend. We're still getting everything put together. It's all moving parts, guys. Everything's a moving part. When you have two people putting everything together, it's all moving parts. But so anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. Lots of exciting things happening. Lots of great things in the works. We just got to keep plugging along. We got to keep moving forward, keep growing this program, and we need you guys to help us do that. All right, let's get to the show. Hey, I mentioned Double D's Barbecue. You know, they're open Wednesday through Saturday. That's how they roll. Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. I know a bunch of you guys have been. You were blown away. I told you it was going to be awesome. So they're owned by a lovely couple, Dennis and Tina Duncan. Their son Garrett's in on it with them. They're from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, guys, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. They make all of their food fresh daily, make all their own sauces, all made from scratch. And they have specials all week long. Yesterday, if you went, you know it was wing day. Today, Thursday, loaded jumbo baked potato. Friday and Saturday, Mississippi farm-raised catfish. It's real catfish, not that crap you get from the store. Check out their Facebook page, Double D's Southern Barbecue, for daily updates on all their specials. Double D's Barbecue, located in Clayton, right there near 40 and 39. A little out of the way, very easy to get to. And you can learn everything about the menu. Ribs, brisket, and more. DDBBQ317.com. DDBBQ317.com. Okay, let's get to gas prices. So, driving into the studio today, and I'm like, I'm going to stop at various stoplights. I'm looking at the looks of the people around me. And I'm not saying that everybody is super chipper when they go to work in the morning. I'm not like under the delusion of that. But I was like, I want to see the looks on people's faces. And guys, it was pain. Like you can tell depression, pain, sadness, frustration. Like this is hitting people that we are at a crisis point for many people on gas prices. What has happened over the last couple of days is ridiculous. And I mean, really, yesterday was the point where the rubber hit the road and the prices skyrocketed. So let's talk a little bit about what's causing the gas prices to go up. By the way, nationally, gas prices have climbed $1.30 or more than 40% since late February. Now, it's greater here because of something we're about to talk about, but that is according to NBC News, AAA, and one of the things about gas prices is, and NBC had an article about this, gas stations in many cases had artificially kept the price below $4 because they didn't want to piss everybody off. Now that the price has soared past $4, they may not care anymore. They may have screw it. We're going to charge what we're going to charge. So there are two things really at play. One is this war with Iran, which I come back to. Trump has done a horrible job of explaining to this country what we're getting out of this. Well, Iran's a bunch of crazy people. Well, we've known that for 50 years. Well, Iran's trying to acquire a nuclear weapon. Well, we've known that for 50 years. What changed over the past 2 months that's forcing me to pay nearly $2 a gallon more in some cases than what I was paying in February? What is it? Why is my life getting better by this? Why is your life getting better by this? Trump has not made that case. The Republicans in Congress have not made the case. And I think people are now fed up. Like, I think they were willing to tolerate the $3.50 gas for a protracted period of time. I think we're done at $4.60. And by the way, how is this possible? And we need to get the oil guy Bill Herrick back on here. I saw gas. There are 3 gas stations I go past that are in essentially a triangle next to each other near where I go to work in Brownsburg. $3.99, $4.49, $4.69. How's that possible? 3 gas stations literally next to each other, all with different prices. What's going on? Hey, Rokita, I thought you were supposed to be looking into the price gouging. How about 267 near the interstate in Brownsburg? Can we do an investigation into that? People are outraged about this. People are looking at this going, what the hell? Because there's no clear benefit to us about what's going on with Iran. Yeah, they're a bunch of lunatics. We've already known that. Yeah, they hate us. We've already known that. Yeah, they are a state sponsor of terror. We've already known that. What are we getting? Because we just keep hearing threats and then delays, threats and then delays, threats and then delays. You know what threats and delays have gotten us? Oil now stands at $114 plus a barrel. May have gone up since the show started. Who knows? It's gone as high as $118 a barrel. It doesn't make me selfish or un-American to ask what I'm getting for my sacrifice. I pay enough in taxes. This war with Iran is a tax. It's a tax. I'm paying more in gas. I'm paying more for this war in Iran. It doesn't make you un-American or unpatriotic to ask why this is happening. So the two things are happening. The U.S. and Iran are both blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Like, Iran's like, we're blocking. And the U.S. is like, well, we'll see your block and raise you a block of our own. Okay. Great. Thanks to both of you guys. Wonderful. How's the stick measuring contest going? The other thing that has happened is that there was a power outage at a BP refinery in Northwest Indiana. And that facility is the largest in the area. And it supplies much of the gasoline used in the Great Lakes region, including here in Indiana. So we are getting crushed here right now, as are Michigan, etc., than most of the rest of the country. That's why you have seen such a massive spike. Now, look, this happens, right? These refineries, they do go down. That's not news. That's not new. That's not effective. That's not effective to the war in Iran. But it's a much different conversation to say refinery went down, you're going to pay $3.20 for a gallon of gas. Which you go, that sucks. Well, I filled up just ahead of time, so I might be able to stretch it to where this thing gets back online, right? If you got lucky. You grumble, you pay, you go on. I pay. And you go on. It's a much different conversation. Hey, refinery went down, gas is $3.20 for a week, versus, hey, refinery went down, gas is $4.60 for a week. You're talking like $15 to $20 more now people are paying to fill up their tank, depending on what size tank they have. And you talk about that every single week, you're talking $1,000 or more over the course of a year. Look, this thing started in February. Our first segment we did on this show was about Trump's war with Iran that had kicked off right before we started the program. I want to know what I'm getting for my money. Like, we never hear anything new that we didn't already know about the Iranians. And I'm sorry, I'm not willing to pay $1,000 more a year for some protracted conflict where it's just a bunch of starts and stops. Trump couldn't even remember how many days he gave him or what day we were on of the ceasefire stuff or the negotiation window. He got it wrong. And then he's like, well, I guess it's 11 days now because I guess I'm super. And it was like, not funny to me, man. Yeah, you're a billionaire and everybody pays for stuff for you. The taxpayers pay for it. Not maybe chuckle fest to you. Not funny to me. Not funny to a lot of people. And I saw it today. I saw the pain on people's faces. I looked at my own tank and it's like, okay, I drive a golf cart. I've got half a tank of gas. Not going anywhere this weekend. I got to make it to the studio and back a couple times. Okay. If I can do that, maybe I can outlast this refinery being shut down and maybe we can get it back to, something reasonable like $3.75 a gallon. Look, the Republicans are going to get clobbered in the midterms. And it all becomes psychological at some point, right? Like if you're unhappy with something, like think about in your own life, a product, right? Like you're unhappy with it. It doesn't perform the way you want. It wasn't as advertised. You're already not satisfied. And then you call, like just say customer service, and then they put you on hold for 30 minutes. You're done, right? Like you're done with that. There's nothing that the customer service person is going to say once they answer the phone that's going to change your mind about the service or the product because you were already unhappy and now they've made it worse. In the case of our country, pre the war with Iran, affordability was already bad. Inflation was bad. The price of everything was bad. The Republicans had not delivered on the price, lowering the price of essential goods and services. And now you throw this on top of it. And now people are like, F this S. I mean, they are. Like, that's the look I saw on people's faces today. The government keeps making things worse. The magical money printing factory. And the only thing that's going to happen here in this state is the governor might give you another 30-day reprieve, and that's it, on the sales tax on gas. He's already said, ain't touching the gas tax. Sure, he'll divert potentially $700 million of new taxes on tolls up in the northwest part of the state for the Bears to have a free stadium. But you can go F yourself. Would you guys be really... Okay. We are clearly getting so screwed by our politicians. We are, right? Would you guys really be mad if I said the word? Because that's what you're getting. Would you guys actually be mad? Would you actually be offended? Would you be like, dang, Rob, you said the word even though we're totally getting that word? Let me know in the YouTube chat. Like, if I had said the word, would you be like, I'm so offended? I don't know. I have a very high standard of myself on this show, but I wonder. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, if I said it, would they be mad? I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about Hogsett for a minute, shall we? But before we do that, let's talk about Seal Now, because the city's going to need a bunch of things patched up if we get another 4 years of Hogsett. Hey, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can protect your outdoor surfaces. And they do more than just concrete. They do decks, fences, pergolas, any exterior concrete or wood outdoor structure that needs cleaned or manufactured. Seal Now, they are the guys. Call them today, 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002. Visit sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but if you tell the guys at Seal Now, heard about you guys on Rob's show, they are going to take 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off. That's an incredible deal. That's an incredible bargain for you at a time where everything's expensive, including gas. SealNow.com. Tell them you heard about them on our show. All right, let me go ahead and do this because I'm going to need a little extra time to get into the Hogsett stuff. Plus, we've got this landmark Supreme Court ruling. And we've got this stuff going on in Virginia, and the pearl clutchers here are going to be outraged if Virginia ultimately strikes down what the Democrats tried to do there. Let's take a break. We'll get into all of that when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, representing the Wabash Valley by listening and never compromising our shared values. That's why I'm the only Senate candidate endorsed by Indiana Right to Life, the NRA, Indiana Realtors, professional firefighters, and the Indiana Farm Bureau. These endorsements are from the good people from Indiana and for Indiana, a sign of trust that I have built and results that you can count on. I'm Senator Greg Good, and I respectfully ask for your vote in the Indiana Republican primary.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. If you haven't done so yet, hit the like button. How many likes do we have so far? 95. There's way more than 95 people watching this show right now. Don't be a dine and dasher. You know, I had to stop the show the other day and refuse to do the big announcement until you guys hit the like button. Don't make me pull this car over again, and I will just look right into the camera and stare at you guys for as long as necessary. That'll really screw up the on-demand podcast. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Hit the like button. Help us out. It really does help us out. Share the feed. Let people know. And our charge for you guys today, and you guys are the best audience in all the world. You always respond when we ask you. We're going to have to start replacing some of these politicians that are going to be going away after May the 5th. We want to get some new great local businesses to promote. If that's you, if you own a business, if you are in charge of making decisions for a business, if you know somebody who is, get them to us. sales@robkendallshow.com. People are always blown away. They're like, you only charge how much? Because our goal is to make money for our local businesses. You notice they keep coming back, right? Because we really take care of our advertisers. But we got to replace some of these people that are going away. And so help us get some new businesses through our door. Sales@robkendallshow.com. Sales@robkendallshow.com. Okay. Before we talk about Hogsett, with the price of gas and the property taxes and the utility bills, you may be like, I got to get the hell out of Indiana. We don't want to lose you. But if that's you, or if you're just like, I got to get the hell out of my current living situation, maybe you live in Brownsburg and you're sick of a warehouse and a high-density housing development being on every corner. By the way, I was laughing because this guy, Ben Lacey, who is a complete loser, is up for re-election. If you live in Brownsburg or you know someone who does, you want to do something nice for me, tell them to vote against Ben Lacey. Do Uncle Rob a favor. Remove the burden from his life of crappy local governance. He's got a primary opponent. The guy's name is Chris Kiesler. But they're trying to save this guy, so he's sending out all of these press releases about the town, and they send it out on the town social media or whatever. He writes it as the president. And their big announcement was a Texas Roadhouse has proposed coming to Brownsburg. Not they are coming, not it's signed, sealed, and delivered. Economic development is so crappy where I live that a proposed chain restaurant is town news. Oh, and by the way, they're proposing to put it right at the corner of 267 and 74, which is the worst place imaginable, in terms of traffic, if you can picture this. And they're like, hey, you people should love us. You might be getting a chain restaurant, and we're going to put it in the worst place imaginable. And my favorite part was everybody was just crapping all over them for where they were going to put the restaurant. Anyway, maybe you want to get out of Brownsburg. Maybe you want to get out of Avon. As bad as Brownsburg is, they've made Avon even worse. Maybe you want to get out of somewhere, anywhere, and go somewhere more quiet. If that's you, call our friend Lauren Wilson, Realtor Extraordinaire with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Don't leave your biggest investment or choice or decision to chance. Work with Lauren Wilson, a Realtor Hoosier through and through, local, lifer, military vet. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson with At Properties. All right, let's talk about Hogsett. There is I'm sure most of you have seen the movie Caddyshack. There is a great line in the movie Caddyshack where Judge Smales is in the locker room. Ted Knight plays the judge Smales. And he's annoyed that all these people are in the locker room and they're playing cards and something else. And he finally just looks at him and goes, "Don't you people have homes?" And that is a line that I have used throughout much of my life, and certainly towards politicians, that I would love to ask every single one of them who stay forever. Don't you people have homes? And the answer, sadly, for many of them is no. They have nothing else to do other than be in politics. And that is certainly the case of Joe Hogsett. And that's why after he won, immediately once he won re-election to a third term, we said, he's not leaving. The man is almost 70 years old. He clearly has some very serious personal issues. Our old pal Hammer used to describe him as a human cigarette butt, which is absolutely true. And he's done a horrible job running this city. Who would hire Joe Hogsett? Who at Hogsett's age, with his well-suspected personal issues, would hire? Who would be like, yeah, we desperately want Hogsett to be the face of anything that we're doing? The answer is no one. No one would want to do that. And so he said he has no other option. He's going to run for a fourth term, and he'll likely keep running until he's defeated or they put him in a box. And now, despite for years saying he's done, it's over, he's not running for a third term, or alluding to it at least, our friends over at Wish TV have asked him about his plans once his third term comes to an end. What are you going to do? He was at an economic development announcement at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and according to Wish TV, quote, Hogsett said with the massive investment and development happening in Indianapolis, there's unfinished business. Quote, any mayor who has put enough time into the development of our downtown would like to see it completed. So it's one thing to shovel in a new development. It's another thing to open the doors and welcome people in and see them enjoy it. So that tugs at my heartstrings, but ultimately I'll make the decision that's based on whatever legacy I'd like to leave for our city and how far along we are in promoting that legacy. Okay, well, since he opened the door, let's talk about it. Joe Hogsett's legacy to any, I think, neutral observer is it's crap, which is what he's turned the city into. His legacy is the guy who disappeared during the riots. No one to this day publicly will say where Joe Hogsett went to during the riots. We know he wasn't in control of the city. As the city burned, as people died, we know Joe Hogsett was missing. What we know is the riots happened. No one heard from the mayor. We got a tweet in the middle of the night, but we have no idea who made that tweet. We didn't see Hogsett until a day later. And then that performance was so porous that the city was burned and looted and destroyed the next night. And then basically everyone but the people who did the looting and rioting and destroying got blamed. And then you remember the governor, he was like, here, Hogsett, let me hold my beer. I'll do a meet and greet with Malik Muhammad. And then instead of demanding he be arrested after threatening to seize my house on live television and putting this guy in prison where he can't harm others, I'll just let him allegedly write part of the police reform bill, skedoodle on out the door, go to Portland, and get arrested for attempting to kill cops. That was your mayor and governor in 2020, guys. That was Indiana government in 2020. And you know what? For the most part, Republicans and Democrats in elected office, they didn't say anything. By the way, in the YouTube chat, a bunch of you guys wanted me to cuss. Here's the thing, though. There could be children listening. Doesn't someone have to think of the children? Aren't we always being told, whether it's the free daycare or whatever else, someone has to, the universal pre-kindergarten, aren't we always told someone has to think of the children? The point is, though, Joe Hogsett's legacy will be the destruction of the city of Indianapolis, the abandonment of the city of Indianapolis, the mass exodus of the city of Indianapolis. He failed for years before the riots on crime. He blamed the police instead of the people who were doing the crimes. He went to bat for the criminals over the law enforcement. And anybody with any common sense, for the most part, has tried to get the hell out of the city. Look, we have been in the market looking for real estate. There's been a variety of things that have forced us to look at different places for the needs that we have, et cetera. But one of the things Jason and I have been amazed at is how much commercial real estate is actually available in the city of Indianapolis and what the prices actually are for said commercial real estate. There is no shortage of ability to find stuff if you want it. And we probably have needs that are much higher than what a traditional office type environment might be. People have left in droves. Real estate companies, if they'll call you back, the wanted signs are everywhere for tenants, but sometimes it's a little hard to get calls back. But they'll basically meet you where you're at if you can get a phone call back. Yes, or competent. That is also true. Joe Hogsett has been a disaster to this city. He has been a disaster to the taxpayers. But because of the exodus of the common sense people, all you're left with are the people who think this is acceptable governance. The same people who vote for Andre Carson over and over and over again. And so if he runs, there's a better chance than not he will win. Now, what'll be fascinating to me is because Vop Ostley strikes me as a pretty ambitious dude. Vop Ostley, former city county council president running for mayor. Andrea Hundley, she strikes me as a pretty politically expedient person. State senator, now running for mayor. Maybe they'll finally tell us where Hogsett was during the riots. Maybe they'll finally say it out loud. It's part of why I want Jesse Brown, the socialist, to run for mayor. Because I think he would say it out loud. I think he would say the things. We all know why Hogsett abandoned the city and why you can't find out where he was. It's one of the great tragedies of the horrible Jefferson Shreve campaign. He was on a stage with him. Phil Sanchez, the moderator, asked the question. And you know what Shreve did? He spent more time talking about the animal shelter than where the mayor disappeared to during the riots. To this day, no one knows. Well, Thomas Carl Cook knows. Thomas Carl Cook knows. Hogsett's former wife probably knows. Those people could speak. They could tell us where he was. That's right. Yes. Jason's books, which, by the way, are the books supposed to come tomorrow? Are they scheduled for tomorrow delivery?
Between May 1st and 3rd.
Okay, so hopefully I will have them in my possession by May 4th so I can send the merch out. That is my goal, to have those books in my possession by May the 4th, which is the first day we go 9 to noon, by the way. So I can send out the merch to the fabulous people who gave generously that day we did the little prize pack giveaway. Look, the voters of Indianapolis sadly deserve Hogsett. You get the government you deserve. And if that's all you think of yourself, if Joe Hogsett is all you think, now it sucks, I got to come work here, but at least I can leave each day. At least I can close my eye, well, not while I'm driving, but close my eyes, run in the building, hope I'm in a relatively secure location at our new place, and then get the hell out of here. I feel bad for the people who've tried to tough it out. I feel bad for the people who have tried, but look at the Marion County Republican Party. Hammer posted this. Most of the offices, maybe all the offices, are either no choice whatsoever, like no one filed to run for the office, or there's no competition. You don't have a choice in the primary. That's gross. How can the Marion County Republican Party have any office left without a candidate? That's a joke. Natalie Goodwin is a joke. She should be ashamed of herself. The Marion County GOP chairwoman. And everybody said when they elected her, she will do nothing. Why are you voting for her? And I guess that's what Marion County Republicans want. Empty ballots. Empty ballots. What a joke. And no competition in most races if they could find some sucker to run. You get the government you deserve. And sadly, the city of Indianapolis, if they're going to tolerate 4 more years of Hogsett, then you'll deserve whatever happens. City sucks. It's horrible. Braun got asked about this, and as usual, he totally wimped out. He got asked about Hogsett running for a 4th term. How they opened the door for you, because I think they were at the same event. You open the door for me, and what do I think of Joe Hogsett running for a 4th term? I'm telling you. The governor, who knows what a dumpster fire the city is, here's what he said. Quote, I'm involved in a lot of what happens in Indianapolis, and at least from the time I've been here since coming back from D.C., it's a place that's obviously on the move. Braun, he had it like right in front of him. Like it's like he's Happy Gilmore. Just tap it in the hole, Happy. Just a little tap, tap, taparoo. Why don't you go to bat for the people of Indianapolis, Governor? People have been forced to endure Hogsett and the crime and the riots and everything else, the lockdowns, all the stuff. You know what he said? It's a place that's obviously on the move. Tell me you're 9 million years old. It's a place that's obviously on the move. And also tell me you're really rich and don't have any concept of what's going on. You know what? We ought to have Braun go spend a week hanging out outside Luger Plaza. Tell me how on the move that is. Just have Braun hang out on Monument Circle for a while. Tell me how on the move it is. Man, they handed it to him, and he wouldn't take it. This is when you talk about uniparty, when you talk about no differences between the parties. This is what we're talking about. Braun had every opportunity to just bash Hogsett's head in, not literally, but from a political standpoint, and say the things and make every news outlet in the city. Yeah, this place sucks. To quote Rodney Dangerfield from Caddyshack. We're doing a lot of Caddyshack today. This place sucks. And instead, it's a place that's obviously on the move. With friends like Braun, who needs enemies? Hey, leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your third authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay, they don't just offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialists. All right, let's get to what the Supreme Court did yesterday. The Supreme Court yesterday finally said out loud something that we should have said for 60 years. It's super racist to say black people can't win elections without rigging the maps to favor black people. Right? It's 2026. Black people run corporations. They sit on the Supreme Court. They're some of the richest people in the world. We all live together now. Like the suburbs are a nice melting pot of diversity. It's 2026. It's time to stop treating the world like, despite the cries from the left that everyone's a bunch of racists. They're not. We're not a racist country. Most people live in perfect harmony. Black people have every opportunity that white people do. They do all the things that white people do. And yet for years, our electoral system has said that black people are incapable of winning congressional seats without rigging maps to jam them full of black people. And so a bunch of people went to the Supreme Court and said, we've had enough of this. And what they did is they challenged a map in Louisiana, which literally had a congressional district that snaked across the state. You think Illinois is bad? Go look at the map in Louisiana. And the state said basically, we are doing this to create a second all-black district. We want black representation. We're making this map to have black representation. And the only way we can do this, based on previous Supreme Court rulings, which we feel we're essentially mandated to do, is draw this map in which the district snakes across the entire state. And the Supreme Court, with a vote of 6-3, so it was all the usual suspects voting no, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kagan, and Sotomayor, said, you know what, that's racist. And it's discriminatory. And we've moved past that in our society. And so we're not going to allow that to happen anymore. CNN, and you know, guys know, I always try to read liberal publications, conservative publications, places that I disagree with, agree with, whatever. I think it makes you more well-rounded. You should do that too. But CNN had a fascinating piece on this, and they were talking about like what the likely fallouts are and a lot of pearl clutching, etc. But CNN was fascinating to me. CNN is up in arms because now what the Supreme Court said in their ruling is discrimination has to be proven. You have to prove there's actual discrimination taking place here. Not just could be anymore, because that was what was the past. Well, this could be discriminatory. This could disenfranchise black people. No, you actually have to prove it now. Which, shouldn't that be the standard for our legal system? Proof? Proof. Now, you have to prove actual harm to someone. Until yesterday, our voting system literally just operating on the feels. And could-be's. Sam Alito, Supreme Court Justice, wrote that the Voting Rights Act's plaintiffs, the people who brought the case, or I'm sorry, future Voting Rights Act's plaintiff, people that are suing based on the Voting Rights Act, because they didn't gut the entire Voting Rights Act. They didn't tear it all down. Some people thought they may do that. They said, no, we're targeting this specific provision of the Voting Rights Act. Alito now says, based on this ruling, that voting rights plaintiffs can only succeed when, quote, when the circumstances give rise to a strong inference that intentional discrimination occurred. Intent is now key, which it should be, right? Again, we have great population shifts, both in terms of states and the populations inside of states and how they live and where they operate. We are not a racist country as much as the left wants us to be. And it was time to stop mandating that states draw maps based on what someone's great-great-great-great-great-grandfather did in the 1850s or the 1860s or even give it to the early 1900s. That's how we were still drawing maps, guys. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I believe that black people can win congressional races with white voters. I believe they can do it. I think they can. Right? I know maybe I'm too optimistic. I think it can happen. Alito also claimed Wednesday that the court was stopping short of, quote, finding of intentional discrimination. But he significantly narrowed the kinds of evidence plaintiffs can use, according to CNN, to prove their cases are requiring to prove their cases, instead requiring current conditions to be utilized. So what he's saying again is a lot of these states, southern states, were specifically targeted by the government on burdens they had to meet, how they had to draw their maps based on things that happened in the 1920s and 30s. That's ridiculous. It was 100 years ago. You know what? Society changes in 100 years. So, yes, some other person's great uncle was racist. Probably true. That person is not, it doesn't make that person racist. The same way as a society that had serious issues, which, by the way, we fought a war and won to fix, and we did. Society does not need to operate the same way it operated 100 years ago. Draw the maps fair. I am of nothing consistent. I was against maps being redrawn in Indiana because I think our maps are very fair, and I'm against having racist maps in Louisiana that aren't fair. You guys, I am consistent. Draw the maps based on the populations, communities of interest, these other things that still exist, right? But simply saying we have to have black districts is ridiculous. The same way it would be if we said we have to have white districts or Asian districts or Hispanic districts. It's ridiculous. People next door to us are probably really loving this segment. Oh, my gosh. By the way, guys, this is probably going to happen. Maybe we'll be able to tell that once we are at our new place. This is likely going to have minimal impact on 2026. Other than in Louisiana, it's going to probably affect them. And Florida is getting ready to potentially do their own redistricting. And so it may affect them. But it does mean if you were sick of the redistricting conversation before, get ready. As soon as 2026 is over, it's going to start up again, especially in these southern states. Because you are going to see a seismic shift in how many of those maps actually are allowed to look now. Speaking of redistricting, here in just a little bit, we're going to get to what happened in Virginia yesterday, because there was a big ruling yesterday in Virginia about redistricting. But first, buying a home or thinking about refinancing, work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps home buyers and home owners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple: clear advice and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes. Call 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179 and learn more to get started today. You got nothing to lose, but potentially dollars on your mortgage payment. 317-695-5179. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle is going to join us. It is our last time to chat before Election Day. We're going to talk about where these Senate races may be headed. We're going to talk about huge drama with the FSSA. We're going to talk about how hard it is. Nikki Kelly has a fascinating article on how hard it is to track how Mike Braun is spending his money and delegating dollars that he raises be spent. This was very interesting and very bad for transparency. All coming up next. You're watching The Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, and I'm here on the Wilson family farm to tell you the truth. Am I allowing China to buy our farmland? No. I'm doing the opposite. I want to kick China's butt, and my record clearly proves it. Some say I'm against Trump. I'm against D.C. insiders trying to scheme away our state and local freedoms. I stand for what is right, regardless of who is in charge in D.C. I stand with you. Do you want a proven leader, a principal, or a political puppet? I ask for your vote on May 5th.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show, joined by one of the best in the business, head honcho at the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, the great Nikki Kelly. Hello.
I should put head honcho on my cards.
I will cry with laughter if I read a story from you and it says Nikki Kelly, head honcho. You have to do that.
Probably not.
Capitol Chronicle obviously covers Indiana news and politics and government, but then you also have a clearly delineated, these are our opinion pieces. And normally we don't start with your opinion pieces, but I thought this was so good we needed to. You had an opinion piece about how many organizations Mike Braun is giving money to, directing money to, funneling money to, spending money with, and it was outstanding, and it really shows what a dumpster fire our election system is. Tell.
Yeah, so I went the other day because I wanted to see what Mike Braun was giving to some of these races, and I realized quickly that his basic state campaign committee, which I think everyone would understand, didn't have to file this year quarterly because he's not on the ballot. Fine. But then you start Googling around and it's like he's got his state committee, he's got a different PAC, his Hope PAC, he's got a federal committee, he's got a federal PAC, he's also got a Hope nonprofit, and the Indiana Republican Party has several, both state and federal, and they do these joint fundraisers, and then they just funnel money. It's like a waterfall. It flows down to various entities. So it was just fascinating. And one of the reasons I wrote the column is I'm in this stuff every day.
That's right.
And I was struggling to follow the cash. And so I just thought it would be interesting to show other people how complicated it is.
Well, and you make a great point, because I read it and I understand, not to the depths you do, but I understand on the peripheral most of this stuff and what the different groups are. And I read it twice, Nikki, and I was like, I still have no idea where it's all going.
Yeah.
So the average person has no concept of, one, who Braun is raising this money from, and then where it's going and for what.
Yeah, you kind of have to follow it down. Like, one of the reasons they do this joint fundraising federal PAC is they say it's to give donors, like, they can just write one check, right? They don't have to write a check to Mike Braun and a check to the Indiana Republican Party and a check over here. They just write one check.
They were they're going to get carpal tunnel, or
yeah, maybe. And then that committee can make sure and funnel it down according to both state and federal limits, because there are limits on, and they say, well, that just makes it easier for the donor, which I agree it does, but it doesn't make it easy to figure out where all the money's coming from if you have to track back, 2 or 3 committees.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about this off air, and I'm not blaming Braun for this. He's playing in the rules that are set up for him.
Absolutely.
Although he's had problems playing in the rules that are set up for him in the past. I mean, he had a massive issue with loans to his campaign that there ended up, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a massive fine, and now he's suing his former treasurer.
He is, yeah.
So he has a problem with the rules, but our election system is so complex, and it has to be by design. There's no way you don't deliberately screw something up this much.
Yeah, a colleague of mine read my column and said it's a twisted mess, and that's exactly the way they want it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's pretty good,
Because there's 2 areas to it. One is, should there be unlimited money in politics? I don't know. I'm open to both sides. But then there's also, if there's going to be unlimited money in politics, you should just have to give it directly to the person so we know who it is.
Right. Instead of giving it to someone else who then takes out the ads against the opponent. And,
yes.
It's like a big circle.
There's a word for that in the criminal justice system when they do that. And yet somehow it all seems to be fine here.
One of the funny ones I looked at was, so Hope, the nonprofit that is Braun related, gave $300,000 at the end of the year to Hope, the state PAC.
Oh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Then Hope, the state PAC, gave $350,000 to the American Leadership PAC, which is running all these ads against the targeted Senate incumbents.
And the wild thing is the nonprofit doesn't have to disclose the donors, right?
Correct.
So you can avoid knowing where the money, or even if you could trace it back, they are able to avoid where the money emanated from.
Correct.
That's unbelievable. It's a great piece. Everybody go read it at the Capitol Chronicle. Okay, election is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Are you, like, there's 2 schools of thought, right? Like, some people just live it and love it. And they're like, this is my favorite time of the year. And then there's some people who are like, oh, thank God this is over. I can go back to my normal life. Where are you as a person who is deeply entrenched in the Indiana politics and government coverage?
Oh, I've always been more of a policy person than political. But, I mean, we're in that, like, last gaps where every tip I get is like some crazy, thing that's happening. It's the worst thing in the world. So we're in the kind of silly part of it,
yes.
Right? That's not my favorite part. I am, however, excited to have an election night where I don't know some of the results of this. Indiana rarely has surprising election results. So I'm going into a few of these on Tuesday night, wondering who's going to come out.
Well, so we said there's 9 sort of legitimate challengers, right, to incumbents.
Yep.
That you say, okay, I could see this going either way. Of the 9, how many incumbents are going down?
I think 2 for sure, maybe a third.
And that would conceivably be enough to flip the who runs the Senate.
Conceivably, depending on results of the general election, you got to remember.
That's right.
You got to remember the Democrats are part of that.
That's right.
So they have some votes for a leader, even though they usually approve whoever the Senate Republicans approve.
You could see where they line up behind Bray going, we don't want to deal with Garton or whoever. That wouldn't
be against precedent, but not against.
And there's also no guarantee that some of these insurgent candidates are going to win the general election either.
Right.
It opens it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you sense that I don't feel like there's any voter enthusiasm out there. I feel like the enthusiasm is in the little clubs, the Turning Point USA.
I feel like the enthusiasm is all on Twitter.
Yes, thank you.
I have not seen it out and about.
Thank you.
And that's, look, I'll be fair though. I do live here. I don't live in Terre Haute or, some of these other areas. Maybe that enthusiasm is there locally, but I at least haven't seen it.
Well, you got the Pressler event, like you mentioned, Terre Haute. There's 10 people there. I mean, I think that's a pretty good indication, does that favor the incumbent if there's no like huge groundswell of enthusiasm?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying 2, maybe 3. I think you're probably pretty accurate, but I don't think it's because of redistricting. I think there's just some guys who have, or a girl in one case potentially, where like you've just been there too long and you've made some people mad on a host of issues that have nothing to do with
But if it wasn't for the redistricting vote,
I agree.
They wouldn't even have an opponent. They wouldn't have millions coming in against them. So.
I agree. Okay, a couple other things I want to get to. Braun has basically said, I'm going to suspend the sales tax on gas again, but then he came out yesterday and said no dice on the excise tax. You guys, your article was fascinating. There's actually a law that says he can't suspend the sales tax on gas more than twice without the General Assembly consent.
Correct. And that's the very old statute, the 1981 statute. Yeah, he's allowed to renew it once, and then the General Assembly would have to do it. But it also kind of goes along with what happened after COVID. I don't know if you remember this, but those public health emergencies went forever.
There was no limit on those.
And but lawmakers did pass a limit after COVID because they didn't like that.
That's like a guy coming in after, you'd had this colossal disaster in your house and it all get cleaned up and go, you need any help? Anything I can do to help you guys?
That's another example of they added language in to say, okay, you can do this a certain number of times and then we have to be involved.
Do you get a feeling that he being Braun, is going to say, well, I did it twice, we're done? I didn't get a feeling based on your article he's got a lot of fervor to call a special session for the gas tax.
No, I think that would be pretty shocking. And I think he even made a comment. It wasn't on my show. I'll give credit to Tony Katz. He was on Tony Katz's show. And he basically said, yeah, I don't see a special session for that.
As soon as the election, the primary election, I think as soon as the primary is over, we're going to start thinking about, and this is ridiculous, but 2028. And I know we got to get through a general election before that. But
I'm thinking about 2026, Rob.
Is Braun vulnerable?
Oh, gosh. I mean, if you look at
what's
his
the perception of the state house?
If you look at his polling numbers, he's vulnerable. I also think where he might be more vulnerable is that there are a bunch of sort of younger Republicans who really want to have their go, right? And I don't know how long they're going to hold off.
Because they don't like him, do they? He's not liked.
I mean, some people really do.
Who?
I know lawmakers who do like him, but I also know others who do not. They especially don't like some of his staff.
If you had to say yay or nay, is he going to run again? And 2, do you think he'll get a primary challenge?
Ooh. I mean, when I was chatting with folks about that campaign finance story, because I was like, why does someone need all these? And they just acted like it was a fait accompli that he would.
So he
would run. So I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if he got at least one challenger. Like I said,
Rokita's not working a real job. We all know that. Rokita's.
But there are a lot of really good lawmakers or other officials who feel like they have, another rung in them. And I don't know if they'll wait another 4 years.
Before I let you go, you guys had a very good article on the FSSA dumpster fire. And there's like hundreds of millions of dollars that they're saying were spent on waste, fraud, and abuse, and now they're telling Rokita, hey, get our money back. What is going on?
Yeah, they basically audited an attendant care program. They basically audited the 5 largest attendant care providers and found, according to them, $200 million in improper payments. I will say it seems very open for interpretation what an improper payment is.
Because that was their response, right?
Right.
Because they're like, we're not giving that money back.
Yeah. And also they announced it before, like all of these entities have appeal rights. And so, I mean, it's one thing to say someone, I don't know, like if a patient isn't real, that to me is real fraud, right?
Yeah.
But it's another thing to say, oh, your care plan is missing this document, you know?
Oh,
so that's the kind of things I think.
Because they're painting it as, hey, you said Harold was getting care and there is no Harold type of thing.
Yeah, I don't think I think that would be shocking. I think it's a lot more paperwork.
Yeah.
And whether people had proper certifications. I don't think there weren't any allegations that I know of that like these people didn't exist and these services didn't exist.
One other thing, and I know I just said before I let you go, but it's my show, so you don't have anywhere to be, do you? The Adam Krupp stuff is very concerning to me. You're the voice of reason, Nikki Kelly. You love everyone, and you're the voice of... So Adam Krupp is I know most of our audience knows, the DCS director. He basically disappears for 3 months, claims he's in the hospital. There's no proof of it. And then he comes back and goes, hey, I'm quitting, but now I have a job as a special advisor to the governor making $210,000. I hate this. Am I wrong to be suspect?
I don't think you're wrong to be suspect. It looks bad.
Yeah.
And in this world that we're in, perception is reality, right? And look, I've worked with Adam Krupp for years when he was at the Department of Revenue. When, he's a good guy. He works hard. He's always been great about answering questions. But I think it's a fair question to be like, and what the governor has said in an interview, and again, he spoke to reporters this morning about Adam Krupp, and, he said, well, he was having some problems. He basically made it out to be that he needed a mental health break, right? But overall, he said he's a good guy. He works hard, and I give people second chances, so that's why he's the advisor.
Yeah, I had some problems in my job, too. Nobody cut me a check for $210,000.
Behind the scenes, I'm not sure that job will last very long. I think they're giving a soft landing to someone they feel who was loyal. But we'll see. But I do think for taxpayers, that's fair, right? We've got state employees not getting raises.
That's right.
We've got, we found $200 million for childcare vouchers. We've found $50 million already for gas sales tax cuts and maybe another $50 million.
Right.
And we can create a job out of thin air for $210,000 for a guy. And now there's kind of 3 people overseeing DCS.
Yeah, my big thing is that they were just pretty flippant about, there's no job description for this guy. Really? I think I have a right to know what I'm paying $210,000 for. You are priceless. And tell us about the Indiana Capitol Chronicle.
Just be sure to read us, check us out. Obviously, the next week or so will be heavy on election coverage, and can't wait to see how the races turn out on Tuesday.
Read them, bookmark them, subscribe to them, IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. Nikki Kelly, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, representing the Wabash Valley by listening and never compromising our shared values. That's why I'm the only Senate candidate endorsed by Indiana Right to Life, the NRA, Indiana Realtors, professional firefighters, and the Indiana Farm Bureau. These endorsements are from the good people from Indiana and for Indiana, a sign of trust that I have built and results that you can count on. I'm Senator Greg Good, and I respectfully ask for your vote in the Indiana Republican primary.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Couple things we need you to do before we resume this award-winning program. First and foremost, hit the like button. That's a pretty simple request, right? Like, we give you 2 hours of entertainment, 3 hours starting on Monday. And all we ask you to do is just hit the thumbs up button. I mean, of course, we do ask a little more than that. Share the feed if you haven't done so yet. You got a Facebook, you got Twitter, let people know where we're at. And subscribe to the channel. Those 3 things, we call them like, share, and subscribe. Really help us out. If you're feeling super generous, if you're like, man, I'm feeling like a freeloader watching this show every day and not contributing, we got a support button over there at robkendallshow.com. We always appreciate the hundreds and hundreds of you who have been a part of that, our little family here. Support button, robkendallshow.com. $1, $10, $10 million. Maybe you've hit a Powerball somewhere and you're thinking, what should I do with all this money? It'd be a great landing spot for you. Support button over at robkendallshow.com. And we mentioned earlier in the program, and it's true, you know, we've had some greatly kind politicians who have advertised on this program. And effective May 5th, I mean, maybe they'll keep going. Maybe they've had such a great time, they're like, we're just going to keep them up. But those people will be leaving us for at least for a little bit. We want to replace those people with some fine local merchants. So if you own a business or you're in charge of a business or, you know, whatever it may be, accountants, roofers, carpenters, we got a plumber, Black Sheep Plumbing, we don't need one of those. A whole variety of different professions. I mean, look at what we did with Double D's Barbecue. Guys, you are the best audience, the most loyal audience. We do a pretty darn good job of getting people through people's doors when they advertise on this show. But we need to hear from you. I'd love to get to know you, meet with you, talk with you. Sales@robkendallshow.com. sales@robkendallshow.com. And that way we can keep this train rolling in the manner it has. And by the way, I think we're going to, once we get in the new place, which we may do the show from there tomorrow, may not, we may be back here. We're going to see how the construction goes today. Then we'll start putting in some other cool things as our community grows and all that sort of stuff. So lots of great stuff on the horizon. Speaking of one of the people that has been with us from the beginning, our friends at Vent Savvy. Now, let me tell you something. When you take a hot shower, does your mirror stay fogged up for 10 or 15 minutes? If it does, your bathroom fan, it's not doing its job. And that moisture doesn't just disappear. By the way, now, and I never used to do this before, every time I take a shower, I'm looking at my mirror, like timing up how long does it take it for it to disappear. That moisture, it's supposed to leave your house. If it doesn't, it gets trapped in your walls, your ceiling, even your attic. And over time, that can mean mold, insulation damage, expensive repairs, and a lot of times it's stuff you never see coming. Call Vent Savvy. Listen to this deal they got set up for you. Go to ventsavvy.com, VENTSAVVY.com, VENTSAVVY.com. Mention our show, John the owner, coming out for a free attic inspection. He's going to look at your vent, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do, and then crawl up into your attic, see if there's water damage, mold, all of that stuff. He'll report back. What did I find? And then from there, you make the choice. No obligation. You're not hooked to anything, not mandated to do anything. Just great Hoosiers helping Hoosiers. Ventsavvy.com. Tell them you heard about it on our show. Okay, let's talk about what happened yesterday in Virginia. And I've been saying this for quite a while on this program and in other places. I did not think that regardless if the redistricting was approved by the voters of Virginia, I did not think it was going to stand up to legal scrutiny because of the way it was handled. So let me talk to you a little bit about what I mean by this. So Virginia allowed the issue to go to a ballot referendum. And in order to do that, it had to pass the legislature 2 separate sessions. And look, I'm simplifying a very complex thing here. I'm trying to do this for the purpose of brevity. And so there's parts I'm going to leave out, et cetera. Some guy watching me right now, hearing my voice, I guarantee he's an expert in this and like, no, look, I'm trying to simplify a months-long, very complex thing into about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? So in the state of Indiana, for a constitutional amendment to come to you, the voter, it has to pass two separate sessions of the General Assembly. So 2 years in a row, the General Assembly has to approve something, and then it goes to you to vote on. Virginia had to do the same thing, but they tried to expedite it because it started in the fall, right? That's when the whole redistricting thing came up. And so they had to take what would take 2 years and cram it into about 6 months. And so they called a special session because they were meeting like normal to pass in the spring, which they knew. But then they had to call a special session to do this for the second vote. Well, it was the first vote. The regular session was the second vote. And one of the arguments in the lawsuit that was made, there were really 2 different lawsuits going on against the redistricting that was approved. And if you kind of read the tea leaves from what the state Supreme Court, the lower court, the appeals court, didn't really matter. We knew it was ultimately going to get resolved at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court in Virginia is what I'm referencing, not the U.S. Supreme Court, but the state Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court allowed the ballot referendum to go forward, but if you read the tea leaves and read what they said, they kind of said, look, we don't want to stop this now. We don't want to stop the will of the voters to go forward right now. However, if this is approved, we will look at the merits of the case and we have concerns. And this is one of the major reasons I had said, now, it all changes now that the Supreme Court has overturned a big part of the Voting Rights Act. And I said that at the time with the redistricting in Indiana, I said, if the Supreme Court overturns a big portion of the Voting Rights Act based on this Louisiana lawsuit, which it did, then I think you have a much better chance of being able to do what Indiana was going to do and it not be overturned. But at the time, that was still the law of the land. And I said, I think a state like Indiana and Virginia would have major legal hurdles to overcome. I don't feel that way now that it's been overturned. But at the time the act was done, it had not been overturned. So Virginia tries, a lower court judge threw out the lawsuit. I'm sorry, threw out the redistricting, said it's no good. What I had said, for the reasons I'd said, it's no good. An appeals court overturned that judge and said, no, it's fine. And then the Supreme Court essentially reinstated or allowed the injunction of the previous judge, the lower court judge, to hold. That's what happened yesterday. The Supreme Court of Virginia came out and allowed the ruling of the lower court judge to stay, where the lower court judge said, no, I'm issuing the injunction. You can't go forward with the redistricting. Now, the Supreme Court in Virginia has not yet officially ruled on the act of redistricting. But, and it doesn't mean 100% this is the way it's going to go, but if you're reading the tea leaves, the fact that they said, no, the injunction stays until we rule, maybe that gives you a decent insight into how they're ruling. So what happened? What happened was the Virginia legislature, because they knew they had to do this in a truncated period, right? Like they had to do it very quickly. They called a special session for the first vote on redistricting. The problem was early voting had already begun for the November elections. Virginia is one of the states with their governor's office that does off-year elections. Them and New Jersey are the two most prominent states. Early voting had already begun in the state of Virginia when they called this special session. And so in one of the lawsuits filed, the case was made to say, wait a second, early voting has already begun. The people are already voting. You have to have separate election cycles for this. You have to have, this can't be done while people are already voting. And again, I'm taking a very complex thing and I'm trying to just trim this down to 5 to 10 minutes. I could do a whole show on this because I've been talking with you guys about this for months, and I think this is going to get overturned by the courts in Virginia. And so the Virginia Supreme Court asked the attorney for the Democrats about this. And this is what matters. They asked him about the idea of saying, wait a second, these people had already begun voting by the time you called this special session. How can this be? And the attorney for the Democrats said, and get this, because Democrats are all about the early voting, right? They would have year-round early voting if they could pull it off. Mail everyone a ballot. Everyone early votes as much as you want, as many vote centers. The attorney for the Democrats said, no, that isn't true. The only thing that matters is Election Day. The only thing that matters. This is the attorney for the Democrats saying early voting doesn't matter. Elections are defined by Election Day. Which the whole argument of the SAVE Act, one of the major provisions of the SAVE Act, which Trump once passed, is we should only have elections on Election Day. And the Democrats are like, no, you have to have all this early voting. But the crutch that the Democrats are going back to say their redistricting is fine is that early voting doesn't matter. It's essentially illegitimate. And the only thing in terms of the law that matters is Election Day. If I were Trump, I would run ads about that 24/7. 24/7. Look, there's a lot of pearl clutchers who have hooted and hollered about what took place in Indiana. The reality is Indiana should have given it to the voters. If they really wanted to know, if the voters were really for it, they should have given it to the voters. We have a very, very tight system in this state that does not allow that. It's a very high standard, and the legislature has to do it. But you have to think about whether you're for or against something, whether it can pass legal scrutiny. I did not think the Indiana one, there was a strong chance before the ruling in Louisiana, it would hold up. I said the same thing about Virginia. And what are the pearl clutchers going to do then if Virginia gets overturned? Then you'll still have, instead of basically a split, you'll have huge wins for Republicans on redistricting. It still doesn't mean your government's going to get any better. It doesn't mean your governing is going to get any better. And I still maintain that we should, which is what the Louisiana case was actually about, you have totally rigged maps that were designed based on racial profiling, essentially. Who's going to hold this seat and who will the voters be? We shouldn't have that there. And the same way here, we shouldn't carve up districts for Republicans just to be able to win elections. We should have maps that actually represent the people, the will of the people. Hey, it is spring. That means it's time for outdoor projects. And you may have been looking around and may have been saying, man, my driveway, my patio, It looks like trash, cracks, breaks. We got to do something about this. That's where our guys from Seal Now come in. Seal Now, the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. And man, do these guys do incredible work. And by the way, if you're looking at outdoor surfaces saying we got to bring that back to life, Seal Now does so much more than just concrete. They do decks, they do pergolas, they do fences. Any wood or concrete outdoor exterior structure, they can bring it back to life. See their work for yourself. SealNow.com. 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 Or call today, 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002. Schedule a totally free estimate. They'll look at what you got. They'll tell you what they can do for you. They'll give you an idea of how it's going to probably look. And then they'll tell you the cost. Then you make the choice. Here's the other great thing. If you go to SealNow.com, SealNow.com, not only are you going to get the free estimate, they're going to take 20% off any long-term sealing project if you tell them you heard about them on our show. 20% off any long-term project just by saying, long-term sealing project, just by saying you heard about them on the Rob Kendall Show. What a deal. Okay, here in just a little bit, Jason will have the best YouTube comments of the day. But before that, I had a conversation with a member of the DCS community. Of course, Child Services, Department of Child Services. And I asked this, well, this person actually reached out to me, and then we started a conversation because this person listens to our show. And they said, I want to thank you for covering what's going on with Adam Krupp and exposing how rotten, how much it stinks, what's happening here. Again, I know most of you are aware, but for those of you, just a quick reset, and then we'll get into what this person told me. Adam Krupp was the head of DCS, Department of Child Services. He disappeared for 3 months. The only thing that he would say was that he was in the hospital and then just disappeared. Suddenly, middle of April, he reappears, and he has been replaced as the head of DCS with the person who was the interim head, but he wasn't let go. He was given a mysterious, nondescript special advisor role to the governor. No one will say what he does. What we know is he makes $210,000 plus benefits. And primarily, the leaders on this have been myself and Kara Kinney over at WRTV6 saying, this is wrong. This stinks. We want information on what this guy does. Kara Kinney mostly has not said it is wrong. She just wants information on what he does. I'll say it's wrong. This is a total scam of the taxpayers. This guy's getting he's getting a freebie job because he's politically connected. And it sounds like, according to what Braun will say, the guy had a mental breakdown. Well, I don't want him in charge of anything. And he shouldn't get some sweetheart landing spot. They won't come clean with what happened to him. They won't tell us where he was, what he was doing, what he was going through. And now he has this super secretive sweetheart job paying $210,000 plus benefits. So when I spoke with this DCS worker, one of the things I asked him, I said, well, what did you guys know? This person told me they were told nothing. They had no idea what was going on with Krupp for the 3 months he's gone. Can you imagine? By the way, DCS, it's like their budget is like $1.4 billion. Can you imagine the CEO of a $1.4 billion company just disappearing for 3 months and none of the employees get told what's going on? Hey, Larry's the CEO. Yeah, no one's heard from Larry for a month. Where's he at? Don't know. Well, who's running the show? Well, Larry's assistant. Well, is she doing what Larry wants? Don't know. Well, when's Larry coming back? Don't know. Well, and you're a shareholder? Is Larry still getting paid? Yep. Is Larry still getting paid? Don't know. We don't know. Was Adam Krupp still getting paid? He certainly is getting paid now. Oh, hey, Larry's back. Okay, so Larry's running the show now. No, the assistant's running the show now. Well, what's Larry do? Well, he has a secretive job. What's his job responsibility? Don't know. The employees at DCS, the rank and file DCS employees, according to this guy, were not told what was going on with Adam Krupp. A $1.4 billion mini corporation that we pay for as taxpayers, and the employees had no idea what was going on. He said there was so little communication with the rank and file. Krupp had been gone for weeks before they even knew he was missing. You want to talk about a guy that's worthless in his job? that he can disappear for weeks before the employees even know he's gone? Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't in charge of $1.4 billion. What are we doing? The CEO disappears and nobody knows for weeks he's gone in terms of the rank and file? How important is that guy? How unimportant is that guy? This person said that the DCS is still a complete dumpster fire, and employees at DCS have been finding out things from the media on all this stuff rather than firsthand from their supervisors and bosses. They're learning like when Kara Kinney and I say stuff. That's when they're learning things. Capitol Chronicle's done articles on it. What sort of operation are we running here? There's some chaos. The CEO disappears, the director, whatever you want to call him, and the employees are finding out from Rob Kendall, Kara Kinney, and the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. What? When we think children are getting served properly when this is how the place is run, here is the quote from this guy. Because he goes, look, Braun, because Braun has huffed and puffed about DCS and this and that. And this person said, Braun has done nothing to improve DCS. He described it as, quote, and this was his direct quote, mostly cosmetic, lots of shakeup, little substance. This is Braun, right? That's a perfect quote for all the Braun stuff. There's always some big press conference. There's some big announcement. There's some big declaration. And then nothing happens. It's the exact thing that happened with the IEDC. Oh, new board, new us, blah, blah. They're still giving away the same amount of money. They're still giving away billions of dollars. They're not telling you, for the most part, where it's going specifically or who it's going to. They're still all in on the data centers. Nothing's changed. Same thing is going to happen to you with the utility bills. From Braun, big huff, big puff, big declaration, writes checks with his mouth that his actions won't cash. And your utility bills are going to keep going up. It's the same thing going on here at the DCS. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Producer Jason is going to have the best YouTube comments of the day. I've got more content for you. We have so many things to get to when we return. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, and I'm here on the Wilson family farm to tell you the truth. Am I allowing China to buy our farmland? No. I'm doing the opposite. I want to kick China's butt, and my record clearly proves it. Some say I'm against Trump. I'm against DC insiders trying to scheme away our state and local freedoms. I stand for what is right, regardless of who is in charge in DC. I stand with you. Do you want a proven leader, a principal, or a political puppet? I ask for your vote on May 5th.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Jason will join us here in just a moment. Talk about the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Before that, buying a home is the biggest investment you'll ever make, but it's about so much more than just a price tag. It's about your next chapter. When you work with Lauren Wilson, her goal is to make sure you feel 100% confident in every decision you make. She's not there just to show you houses. She's there to get you in the right house and to get your right house sold. She'll guide you through the schools, the neighborhoods, the local routes to make Central Indiana living great with you every step of the way. Lauren Wilson, lifelong Hoosier military vet Lauren Wilson with At Properties, 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. And with that, we bring in the star of the show. It's time for the YouTube comments. Best of the day.
The star of the show.
Producer Jason, hello.
Hello, Rob, and all the Robbleheads out there, you wonderful people. This chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with the American Heroes discount. Call Black Sheep Plumbing today for all your plumbing needs. 765-315-7558. 765-315-7558. Black Sheep Plumbing.
Could be your last day in that little corner over there.
My little cubby hole. We took a picture earlier. We couldn't get it up, but we'll maybe show it tomorrow if this is the last day.
Yeah. And look, here's the deal, guys. You got to just bear with us for the next, week, really, because anything could happen here. We have the key to the new building. Jason's been in there. He's doing a bunch of stuff tonight. If it all works out, we're going to give it a go tomorrow. Now, something could blow
It's
up.
gonna be a long night.
Who knows,
Good
right?
Lord.
I don't know. We could end up being back here
Could have just
tomorrow.
waited till Monday, but nope. Let's do it tomorrow.
Could be if we end up back here tomorrow that you guys get a little surprise over the weekend. We may, do we want to test it first? I don't know. Maybe we just go. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, we decided to do the 3 hours at the exact same time that we would have the brand new studio. And we have the internet works, but will it work for 3 hours?
So just bear with us. It's just like when we got on the air the first time. We'll get it figured out. All worlds colliding. And we got the merch that's going to go out here pretty soon as well.
Yep.
So it's all coming together.
And my guess is Rob will be sitting on my folding chair tomorrow.
Perfect.
Maybe in front of a wrinkly curtain.
Perfect. Great to do. We'll do it.
Well, I only have till like 7 o'clock tonight because then the Fever game's on. You'll be watching the big Fever game tonight,
there's
won't
no
you?
way you're stopping what you're doing to watch an Indiana Fever game.
Watch the Fever. Kaylin, looking pretty good.
Remember, you used to be a big deal. You used to be one of the few members of the media that covered the Pacers in this city.
Pacers, yeah, with the Associated Press. That was back when they really sucked.
Yeah.
That was when they had Chuck Person Remember those days? I forget who else was on that team. Right before Reggie.
Yeah.
And they went to, I covered them for about 3 years by the Associated Press because nobody else wanted to. And then I remember the year like with Chuck Person going up against Larry Bird.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good series. Pacers made it to the first round. They drafted Reggie, and then they booted me because then, of course, everybody wanted the courtside seat. So.
Did GIF go with you?
No, that was a solo Jason thing.
Okay, very good.
All right. So
For those who don't know, GIF is Jason's very good friend, Brian Giffen.
Yep.
For
Old
years,
buddy. Old bar buddy.
Long-time Hoosiers will know he was the announcer with Howard Kellman for the Indians.
Yeah, I met him. I think like when I was I just turned 21 in like 2 days, and I went to a bar and he was the bouncer. So
and GIF was the voice of Butler
class.
football for a while, and then he became the producer for the Twins, and then the Braves. And you guys will know GIF. He was the original voice on the Doug Cobb spot. He did the initial.
That's right. The Linda Cheesem.
That is GIF.
Up.
Yes,
GIF. And we got to mention Brian Scott, our other buddy, that part of the trio.
You guys were like some sort of triangle of terror in the 80s, no doubt.
And Brian is the voice of which spot's he doing? Seal Now and
Baltus.
And Baltus. There we go. That's Brian Scott.
Brian Scott is the morning guy now on WIRZ in Hendricks County. He does the morning show there.
All of us with a face for radio. All right. So, by the way, yesterday, the last thing before we get to the chat and part of the chat, yesterday when I started, we had 150 likes.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot. We said, let's get it up to 180.
Yeah.
And then we got going and you rushed me off like you always do with a hook, stage left and all that. And I forgot to acknowledge that I think we got up to 178. So that was pretty awesome. And everybody in the chat was like, hey, we got up to 178. You're not even paying attention, Jason. So I did pay attention. I saw that. And it's appreciated because, again, you guys are awesome and wonderful and
all the stuff.
So welcoming.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to it. We start at the top with the Old Man 68. First one in once again. Happy Friday Eve, everyone. I like the way you put the spin on that. McLovins, good morning. Smash that thumbs up. And you can still smash that thumbs up. I don't know where we're at right now, but just go ahead and hit that thumbs up.
Really helps us, guys. Seriously.
It does, honestly.
Really helps us.
Yep, the algorithm loves it. Steve Green with an E. Good morning, everyone. Rob, I play tailor-made R7 TP irons and burner woods.
I asked
go.
Steve yesterday because he was talking about going to the golf course. I said, I wonder what sort of clubs Steve Green plays.
That would just rip my back up. I can't imagine. C. Mills, 890. Thanks for the donation yesterday.
Right, Christopher Mills, thank you.
That's right. Good morning, all. Just want to let producer Jason know I donated yesterday. Yes, you did. So they could get extra mics for the roundtable segment.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm saving up for another microphone. We have two, but they're like $430.
They're very expensive.
Very expensive, and we really need a third one. But
here's how inflation works. Like, I remember the last time I
and I don't have rich friends. No. I just know people with rich friends.
Rust is my friend. He's your acquaintance now.
Well, maybe we could earn the money this time.
Remember when we bought those Shure mics, which were, which I think that's the ones we got.
That's what we have, yeah. For those out there that understand, it's a SM7B.
It's really nice. Now, the ones we got years ago were not as nice, but they were like $100. And I remember thinking that was astronomical, $100 for a microphone. These were much more than $100.
Now, the $100 mics are just generic, SM58s.
They used to be really
bands
nice,
use, things like that. Well, they used to be, but these were around. We just could never afford them.
Right.
So, okay.
Now, thanks to the generous people who have hit the support button over at robkendallshow.com. We're swimming in nice microphones.
Well, we've got two. We need to really get that. That's all right. Nicholas Kurtz at producer Jason. Good morning, legend. I can't say Rob's nickname in the chat. We got to know what that is. Rick LaFollette. Personally, I hit the like button as soon as I get on here. Just saying.
Thank you, Rick.
We do appreciate that.
That's right.
Ethan Hatcher, almost $5 a gallon for gas. Thanks a lot, President Trump. Kevin Branham, I just filled up my truck for $2.65 a gallon. Thanks, Kroger.
All right. He's got the fuel points.
Yeah. Andy Engel at Ethan Hatcher. Did you thank President Trump when prices were lower? Touche.
Okay, so
at least there's a reason. We know like when Biden was president, why were gas prices high?
Because he did the Ukraine stuff.
Well, but it went on forever with Trump. This is gonna be.
How many times have we been told ceasefire? We're done. Window.
Vietnam. How long did that last?
Yeah, exactly.
How long did Afghanistan last?
Do we ever get out of somewhere fast?
Well, we've never had President Trump
you're
taking
more
care of
optimistic than I am.
at the Hill. This will be all taken care of. People freaking out. Go buy your $10 latte and complain about the 17 extra cents for gas. I've never paid attention to gas prices. I mean, you have no control over it. I mean, just go up, fill up, and leave.
Shop? You don't like this?
No, I mean, okay. My philosophy's always been you could like take $1 off the gas price, right?
Yeah.
You get 10 gallons of gas. Okay, so it's $4 a gallon. Well, that's $40. Okay, if you take like $10 off or take $1 a gallon off, okay, you're paying $30. I mean.
That's a big deal.
But I mean, unless you're driving like hundreds of miles a week, that's just I just never really understood it. I'm not a wealthy person, but there's so many other things that could complain about with money.
I'm gonna remind you that when it's pay time.
All right.
It's only
well,
$10
I expect that paycheck.
It's only $10.
Charles Ludy, will there be a full hour of national content starting Monday?
I think we're gonna weave. I mean, it will be predominantly local, but I think we'll weave in the national stuff. Think of it like a ribbon. A ribbon. Also, once we get to our new studio, and we just couldn't do it here because of
like a zipper merge.
We're going to start being able to put audio clips in too, because we'll be able to get everything spread out, and so we'll start being able to do some of the audio stuff from especially the national thing. So it'll be cool. I think.
See, Steve Green with an E agrees with me. Agree, Jason. Can't do anything about it. Why bother? It's like my marriage. Couldn't do anything about it. Just suffer through it till it ends. I haven't been married for
the whole time I've known you.
The whole time you've known me. 20-some years?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's been bliss. All right. Mad Duck, speaking of your studio, maybe you could just clear out a corner in your garage until you get the studio. Not my garage.
We have the studio.
We have the studio.
Yeah, we have the studio. It's just making it work.
Right.
Now.
Well, it would have been easier just to use the garage. Steve Jackson, I believe Steve's new. I hope you do not think there is more than one party. Well, that's about the Republicans, Democrats. They're all birds of a feather.
Yeah, okay.
Gotcha. I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I think that's what he was saying. Nick, motorcycles. I believe they don't change gas prices, until the trucks come to refill the tank. But that's probably BS too.
Well, I think that's why people are trying to figure out, like, hey, the refinery goes down, and then just instantaneously the gas shoots up, right? And I would get like, hey, in any business, there's a lag time, right? There just doesn't seem to be a lag time.
Again, I'm opposite. I look at it like if there's 3 gas stations, there's 3 different prices. That's capitalism. That's okay. I'm going to go to the guy with the cheapest price. If they're all the same price, that's collusion. That's just there's no way 3. I mean, at Kroger, milk's probably different than Meijer, right? The price is always a little different. Now, if it's all the same,
yeah, but I'm saying they all instantaneously went up, right? Like there's no way Kroger's getting their gas at the same time the Speedway is getting their gas at the same time the BP is getting their gas. There's no way.
Well, Mike Clemens points out the ignorance from Rob today is beyond belief.
So this guy's fascinating. Let's talk about how we deal with Mike Clemens and people like him going forward, shall we?
He has his own category.
This guy, he finds me on Twitter and tells me how much I suck. He finds me here and tells me how much I suck. Look, I thought I was totally irrelevant and nobody cared what I have to say. This is the thing I get. I keep putting this to people. I'll wear whatever letter you want me to wear. If the letter is I'm irrelevant and nobody cares what I have to say, okay. But then you can't be following me around the internet just to tell me how much I suck. I can never remember this guy saying anything good about me. And he's been at it. It seems like for years he's been at this. Twitter, here, there. Like, I'm off your radio. You don't have to consume.
He came to find you to insult you. And he adds, Rob is so ignorant.
It's just the same thing. There's a guy on Twitter who posts the same stuff about Abdul. There's people who hate Abdul. And they post the same stuff about Abdul over and over on no matter what my post is. It's about some conflict they have with Abdul. And I keep trying to tell these people, I don't know and I don't care. Nobody gives a damn about your conflict with Abdul but you and Abdul. Like the only people who care about this. I get in your world it's a huge deal.
Right.
I don't
Well, he's
care.
your buddy. You know.
I have lots of people that are my buddies. Like Adam Wren is my friend. I have no idea what conflicts he's involved in. I don't care. I don't care about for his perspective or your perspective, and neither does anyone else. And yet, for some reason, it gets taken out on me.
Charles Luty points out this is a family show.
Oh, about the cussing.
About the cussing.
Yes.
Joseph Smith, we're all adults here. Say it.
Oh, the swearing.
Josh Richardson, we're all adults here, Rob. I think we can handle the adult language. Rick LaFollette, would you say the word in front of Olivia?
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
See? I've always told Rob and Katz and everybody, it's like, you can say what you want, but somebody's driving down the road. They got their wife or their spouse in the car with them. They got a kid. They don't want to listen to you, but he does or she does. And then you whip off an F-bomb, and they're like, see? That's why we're not Junior in the car. We're not listening to him. Nope, change that station.
Yeah, I don't really gain anyone. I feel like I could lose people.
Yeah, it's, All right, that's just my opinion. Spray jockey, I wouldn't be upset, but I prefer the cleaner version.
You know, I finally figured out who Spray Jockey was. He sent me a message yesterday, and then he goes, hey, by the way, I'm Spray Jockey.
He owns like the 175,000 square foot building, doesn't he?
He's in the spray business, which makes sense why his name is Spray Jockey.
Andy Engel, it's not really up to us. Would Jesus be pleased with such language?
Thank you, Andy. Very good. Very good.
Almond Joy Tempo. Rob, stop acting like a 12-year-old who saw boobs for the first time. We're all adults here. Just remember to brush your teeth, Mr. Potty Mouth. Chat's good today. Spray jockey. Who's going to Clayton this weekend? Dan Foy went to Double D's yesterday. Awesome food. I think there's a little unofficial meetup around 1 o'clock. I'm not endorsing or condoning or whatever, but it sounds
Double
like
D's
some people are going to get together at Double D's around 1 o'clock on Saturday. I won't be able to be there because we'll be grueling away in the new office. Or
right there at the corner of 40, or not at the corner, but near 40 and 39 where they come together there in Clayton.
/studio. Steve Green, great segment on fuel.
Thank you.
All right. Drain the swamp. I don't consider this a family show, but I also think the F-bomb belongs to Stern. Rob, you should stick with freaking.
Okay.
All right. MLM Warriors, 5 days to Election Day. Spray jockey, I own a business, but just dropped $6,000 on fuel yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Ooh. Gasoline junk. Ooh, that's a new one. Gasoline junk. I love the Jason segment. I hope you're enjoying it right now as we speak.
Ego, gasoline junk.
Also, it's a new one. Looking forward to the Piper interview tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm scheduled to do this interview with Piper coming up this afternoon. I have no idea what he's going to say. I think he's incredibly interesting. You guys can hear this tomorrow and go, oh, this was the most interesting thing ever, or go, don't ever do that again. It's very rare I enter an interview with no idea what the person's going to say.
M. Bellore, I don't want you to cuss. I honestly don't care either way. A slip here or there isn't a big deal to me. However, if you go 1980s Eddie Murphy, I would be rather disappointed in you.
Damn.
Andy Engel, Rob, you and Jason should go full tilt and go for Salesforce Tower.
Oh, for our new office. Well, it is not in Salesforce Tower.
Steve Green with an E. Braun, what a loser. Victor Carr, keep the same mayor, congressman, keep the same issues.
So I said, if you vote for any incumbents, you can't bitch about the status quo of whatever thing you voted for the incumbents in. That's my new rule. Your guy or girl is the problem, right? I mean, just you have to enforce your own term limits. These people won't do it for themselves. Bingo, spot on.
All right, and we let's see. We're going to finish up here with a couple of people pointing out again. 1 o'clock Saturday at Double D's. C. Mills delivering to the airport, about to get cavity searched. And I replied. I rarely reply in the chat, but I replied, Moon River.
Oh, yes, a very good Fletch reference there.
So we'll leave it at that. And that's a lot of good chats today. I try to get as many people's name in there as possible. People like to feel part of the festivities.
Very
and
good.
By the way, somebody asked, you today mentioned pearl clutchers.
Yes.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. They wanted apparently they're not familiar with the term pearl clutcher. Would you explain?
Like someone who claims to be up in arms about something. They're clutching under their pearls. Like they're just very...
like an old-timey thing. Like,
yes.
oh, my goodness.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Once again, don't forget Fever Game tonight, 7 o'clock. I'll be watching. This chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. I'd watch the Fever before I'd watch the Pacers. Let's put it that way. Yeah, absolutely. Black Sheep Plumbing, 765-315-7558. Love Sophie and
okay. Now we're getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, it's. I mean, they're good, man. They come out the other night. First shot, Caitlin made her shot. Sophie strokes the 3. I mean, they're just. I like them. Badass.
Hey, masonry color
All right,
mismatch.
I'm outta here.
Previous
See you. So
repair
long.
catching your eye. Not happy with the brick color in your home or ready for a total makeover. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BramwellMCKAY.com. Beauty built to endure. We got a bunch of stuff we got to get to related to this show and other things today, so we're going to wrap up just a couple minutes early. We will be working. So we want to thank you guys for another great program today. We so appreciate you. You're the best audience in all the world. If you haven't done so yet, before you leave today, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us. Tell people about this program. That's how we are going to grow. Whether we're 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, or all points in between, we're going to remain dedicated to Indiana news and politics and government, and we can't do it without you guys. So we will see you from somewhere tomorrow. Where that is, I don't even know yet, but we will see you tomorrow, 10 until noon, as long as the internet works wherever we're at. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.